What's up, everyone? Darkside Phil here, and I'm excited because once again, it's that time of year when I like to take some time and set it aside to talk about the history of video games. In previous years, we explored classic historical games that actually established genres of gaming that exist still today in the present day. Now, we've played such classics as Scottie Pippen's Slam City, the best basketball sports game of all time. Last year we took a closer look at Corpse Killer, one of, if not the best survival horror game that it completely established the precedent for such timeless classics as Resident Evil, Silent Hill, which I just recently got to play Silent Hill 2, and so on and so forth. So this year, we're going to do something a little bit different, okay? We're going to look at a genre of gaming that really kind of exploded during the mid to late 2000s, and we're going to look at its roots. Now, what I'm talking about is the music genre of gaming. Now, it's a wide spectrum. You've got games such as Guitar Hero, Rock Band, DJ Hero, where you can use instruments to create or emulate being a musician and actually play songs. You've got games such as the Dance Central games where having a song in there and you have to react to it, whether by dancing on the floor or sometimes in arcades they had those games with these sensors around you that you would have to swing your arms around. There's just a wide variety of musically oriented games that have come out over the past decade, maybe even 15 years. But what lots of people don't realize is that the music genre of gaming actually started way back in the mid-1990s. And you might see a pattern forming here, but what it seems is that really, when it comes down to it, it was the Sega CD. That's right, that most cherished console that actually established the precedent for the gaming future. And so today we're actually going to look at a trio of games which definitely solidified this music genre, revolutionized the whole idea of being able to have music in a video game and have music be the focus of a video game, and even were some of the very first games to have licensed music from real established artists in a game. Now, what I would say is when you really think about music, okay, and you think at the core of what it is, what is the best part about music? Is it the beautiful melodies? Is it being able to know that you're an artist and you can actually create something original on an instrument? Is it the poetic structure of the lyrics? Of course not. It's the music video. The music video is the absolute core of the music industry. And so this trio of games actually focuses on the music video. That's right. You wouldn't think that this game would be about actually learning how to play a guitar or a drum or do something useful. Of course not. These games jumped past all that nonsense and said the most important part about the music industry is sitting in an editing room, putting together silly little clips and effects, bleeps, bloops, rewinds, and freezes to make a really silly music video. And of course, that's absolutely correct. As you know, over the past 15 to 20 years, MTV has become 100% music videos all day long. In fact, they have several new channels, and they actually beam music videos wirelessly throughout the sky all the time. I mean, I'm actually projecting a music video on the back wall of my condo right now, completely wirelessly. You just can't see it. So the music video, which is really the center of the music industry, these guys had enough foresight to know that making games based off of the creation of a music video was definitely going to be along the times, okay? So what we're going to look at today is this trio of games. And wow, let me tell you, when they were picking what games they were, or what bands they were going to use for these games, they definitely knew exactly what they were doing, okay? They didn't go for, you know, these bands that everyone says, oh, they're the best, they're always the greatest. You know, think of the greats like the Beatles or something like that. Of course not. They went straight for those bands that they knew were great and were going to be timeless and that everyone would be listening to their music forever. And so the first game, of course, is a choice of a band that everyone knows. It's a household name. No one, you know, everyone still, even though here we are 15, 20 years after, you know, their last album, they're still in the forefront of all of our minds. CNC Music Factory, of course. I mean, CNC Music Factory, everyone grew up listening to these guys. I mean, it was crazy. Like, my parents loved them, I loved them, everyone just fucking loved these two guys, even though no one actually knows what the hell CNC stands for, because no one knows their real names, or bothered to learn them. I mean, they're definitely right there at the forefront of the music industry, okay? Now, who was the second choice? Well, let me tell you, again, they really knew what they were doing. Timeless band, a band that was so good they couldn't really properly even be categorized as rock, funk, or pop, probably because no one knew what the fuck they were or what the fuck they were doing, but they were great. I mean, they were the best guys out there. Of course, we are talking about In Excess, and definitely the choice of photo that they used for the front of this game reflects the whole spirit of the band. You know, three young scamps dressed out in military uniforms that don't really have any kind of denomination or determining factors, and have nothing to do with the band whatsoever. So, perfect choice, once again, for that. Makes perfect sense. And that's obviously the real band members right there, those three, 14-year-old kids. So, alright. Those two are good and great. But now, let me tell you something. The third choice that they made for this whole, make your own music video, be a video editor kind of a deal, I can't believe it. I mean, they saved the world. They saved the world with their music. Their music was so heartfelt, so emotional, so compelling. The lyrics were so poetic that they changed the hearts and minds of entire groups of people and cultures. Cultures who had clashed for hundreds of years came together over these songs. They were just so amazing and emotionally, artistically timed. I really feel that their music changed the world. I'll go as far to say this. If their music didn't come out, the first Iraq War, that's right, Operation Desert Storm, would still be going on today, and I stand by it. Of course, we are talking about the dynamic duo, the amazingly artistic team of two. I mean, like I mentioned, you've got the Beatles, you've got Michael Jackson, and the next band that comes right into your mind after that, Chris motherfucking Cross. I mean, come on. Anyone who's smart enough to know that simply wearing your jeans backwards would sell albums must have some kind of like a fucking amazing stroke of genius. And being the fact that that was really the only original thing that they ever did, and that after a short-lived run they kind of faded into obscurity, just proves that they knew that their work was so amazing they were never going to top what they originally started with, and so they said, we're just going to ride out our popularity and fade into obscurity as the best musicians ever. And indeed, that's exactly what happened with these two. There are monuments to them all around the world. People wake up and they say, jump, jump. This Chris Cross will make you jump out of bed and get to work. Even when you hate your job and the economy sucks, you're still humming the Chris Cross classic songs in your head. So, what a choice. What a trifecta of amazing talent they chose when they decided to make these video editing games. And you might say to yourself, well, wait a minute, Phil. What game development studio could possibly have made such marvelous choices when they decided whose music to license for these video games to make music videos out of them? And, of course, you would have to say, well, who is the studio who's been doing this all along? Who is the studio that made Scottie Pippen Slam City and made Corpse Killer and has been revolutionizing gaming all throughout the mid-90s with the Sega CD? Of course, it's Digital Pictures. Digital Pictures, that's right. The studio of Chuck Zito. Chuck Zito is the fucking most brilliant person on the planet, and I'm so glad that he is now the secret world ruler of the world and actually controls the Illuminati and the shadow government that actually runs everything behind the scenes, because he deserves it. With all the work that he put into these Sega CD full motion video games, he definitely deserves that kind of credit and that kind of worship that we all give to him. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to jump right into these classics, because I can't wait another moment to play these games. We're going to try each one of them. And so I think we're going to start off with a Power Factory featuring CNC Music Factory, and then we're going to wait until we can't figure out how to do anything, and then we're going to move on to In Excess, and then finally, once we get bored of that, which will never happen, so I fully expect that this video series is going to be an infinite playlist, and this is pretty much the last games that I'm going to be playing until I die, we're going to move on to Crisscross. And then we're going to play that one until the horrendous music makes our ears fucking bleed, and then we'll finally turn off the Sega CD console. But of course, as you know, Crisscross is so amazing, there's no way we're ever going to get tired of their music. So, I'm excited. I want to jump right in. I want to see the roots of the music gaming combo come to fruition on my TV. I can't wait. Let's jump right into it. I'll see you then.